Did you ever want to know how to increase velocity from a scientific standpoint? Hi, this is Ron Karr, and welcome to this week's Velocity Mindset. I'm standing here with Steve Spangler.
I'm with Ron Karr.
That's right, and he's a great guy, but let me tell you why I have him here. He's also known as the science guy, and for the last 30 years, he's been mesmerizing audiences with famous scientific experiments that has blows their minds, including the
blowing up stuff.
Including the one that you all probably know, the Mentos that goes into the Diet Coke that turns into a big geyser. This was the guy that developed that. But today I want to talk about Steve because he also appears on the Ellen Show. He's all over the media. He just did your 22nd show on Ellen.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to ask Steve this one question for you guys. So we're about velocity, right? We're about doing things faster, right? Talk to us from a scientific standpoint, the concept of velocity and how you see it and why it's so important for momentum.
You're good. As soon as you say velocity, my science brain goes, velocity is speed with direction. So if you go back to your high school physics class, you remember they talked about an object moving in a particular direction, or object moving, and they calculate the speed, but they always had that arrow on the top of it that will show you direction. And I think from a business metaphor standpoint, sometimes you see people doing lots of things, but it's not in one direction. You got to train football players, take the ball and go in that direction there. If they just run all over the field, they got to go in that direction. There is a goal. So velocity is speed with direction. So I think in business we have to focus on that. And once you get that down, that's hard. Once you get that velocity in your business, in your personal life, you just do it again and you do it again. And in our equation, that's mass. So if you can think about that, I'm just going in that direction. I'm doing that over and over and over again. Mass times velocity is called momentum. And if we want momentum in our lives and our business, it's a pretty simple formula. It's harder to do than you think.
Well, let's talk about velocity for a second in terms of speed and direction. So are you saying that a lot of people that are doing too many things at once and are not focusing on one thing are not going to gain velocity?
That's exactly right. You're not going to, by definition, you don't have velocity. You have speed. And so people burn out. You talk about people in the world that burn out. They're busy. They're always busy. But they're not busy and focused. And I think that's what you bring to it in the series, is you've got to focus in that particular area. That truly, by definition, is velocity.
And then when you take mass, you're talking about, like you're saying, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
So is the concept basically for salespeople and leaders in organizations to say, find the one thing that works for you and just keep repeating it and don't get unfocused on other stuff?
Correct. You can go test other things,
right.
But I'll show you from a YouTube standpoint. We have almost 350 million views on our YouTube channels. And the way that works, we've divided up into different channels because they resonate differently with different audiences. So speed with direction and somebody who wants to come and see me blow up stuff is different than somebody who's coming to see a series that we've put out online or something. So you have to, I think you have to divide it up. It's really, really important that you focus in a particular area. Go try other things, but I think the word you're thinking of as well is resonate. In physics, things resonate differently, right? And when it resonates, you get that sound in physics anyway. A pipe can resonate. An organ, just blowing air through a pipe gives you nothing, but when it resonates perfectly, you get a beautiful note. This is what you're talking about, is that one direction, that one thing that resonates. Mass, just do it over and over and over again. You found the secret sauce. Now don't screw it up.
So what you're really saying also is that you're selling to different industries. You can't sell the same way to different industries.
Correct.
You got to sell an application mode that's going to speak to that specific industry. And once you find the message, do mass, keep repeating and repeating. Once that works, then you can try another industry and another industry.
And the last thing is, in business, you know this, you can't be afraid to pivot.
Right.
So you can do that same thing and understand that the forces of nature, if you're going to use the velocity example, nature, every system slows down, and that's just nature. So guess what? When it slows down and there's no more energy, that's where you get to reinvent yourself. You get to now take that velocity, speed with direction, point it in a new direction, start all over again. You know the formula, you just have to follow through and you'll do it right.
All right, so velocity is not just velocity for the sake of velocity. Velocity is speed with direction, multiplied times mass, meaning doing over and over, and that's when you get momentum in your career.
This guy's got physics under his belt now. He's brilliant in business and in education.
And I all have you to thank for that, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
From the mouth of a Hall of Fame speaker and one of the world-known, best-known personalities in the world of science, this has been Ron Karr, and this is this week's message. Have a great day and have a great week.